Hey, what's happening everyone? Welcome to another Pokemon Go video. Today I'm going to be counting down the top 5 Pokemon that you should focus on during December Community Day. Now I'm really excited about this Community Day mainly because I like the fact that they're bringing back pretty much every Pokemon that we've had for Community Day for one last hurrah. I think it's a really great idea and it's a really great way for players who are not able to get a lot of really great Pokemon for the other Community Days to have a second chance at getting a lot of those cool Pokemon. Of course, there's a lot of hit and misses when it comes to these exclusive moves. There are some that are extremely powerful and there are some that are just there for the novelty of it. And we're going to be looking at the 5 Pokemon that actually have a really nice exclusive move and they have some relevance in the meta. So yeah, if you end up enjoying this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, share this with your friends, and enjoy your Community Day. It's going to be an awesome one, so make sure you plan it out and utilize it to the best of your ability. There's a lot of Pokemon that you really want to get, so yeah, let's just get right into it. Alright, first up, it's going to be Dragonite with Draco Meteor. Now, of course, Dragonite is already a really powerful Dragon-type Pokemon, and unfortunately, Draco Meteor is not necessarily as powerful as a move that he already has access to, which is, of course, Outrage, but it is situational at best. But I really like the fact that Draco Meteor is available for Dragonite during Community Day, mainly because this move is a really awesome move. I like the fact that it is a big charge move. There are some players who like to play with one big charge move as opposed to a bunch of little ones, and quite honestly, this is a great Pokemon for you to get. Now, of course, Dragonite is one of those Pokemon that does get outclassed by a lot of legendaries, and of course, with some Pokemon that are coming out in Gen 4 like Garchomp, they are going to outclass Dragonite regardless if it has Draco Meteor or not, but this is still a really nice Pokemon to have, especially compared to a lot of the other ones with a little bit less relevant moveset from Community Day. Next up, we have Charizard with Blast Burn. Now, this is an interesting case mainly because Charizard with Blast Burn is a really strong Fire-type Pokemon, but he still gets outclassed by Moltres and Entei. Of course, when it comes to Entei, he has a much higher TDO compared to Charizard, even with Blast Burn, and of course with Moltres, he has a much higher DPS with Overheat. But Charizard with Blast Burn is still a really strong Fire-type Pokemon, and you really want to get a really high IV Blast Burn Charizard, mainly because when PvP comes out, we really don't know what restrictions Niantic is going to place on PvP when it comes to how many legendaries you can use. So if you really need a nice Fire-type non-legendary Pokemon, Charizard with Blast Burn is your best bet. Now, of course, with Magmortar, he would technically be the best Fire-type Pokemon in the game that's not legendary, but unfortunately for Magmortar, he doesn't have a really good moveset. So if you want a non-legendary Fire-type that's going to be the best, well, you can look no further than Charizard with Blast Burn. So if you really want that, focus in on getting those Charmanders and definitely go out looking for those high IVs. Speaking of high IVs, one trick that I suggest everyone do is just find someone who is also going to be collecting as many Pokemon as possible. And before the weekend is over, do a whole bunch of trades with that particular player. Of course, you want to pick someone who has best friends or ultra friend status with you. That way you can just have a nice Stardust discount. But this is a nice trick for you to pick up some Luckies and some high IVs. This is definitely something that I plan to do during Community Day. Up next, of course, we have Venusaur with Frenzy Plant. Now, this Pokemon is by far the best grass type that we have available right now, but unfortunately, grass types are not necessarily extremely relevant in the meta. But regardless of that fact, you still want to get a Venusaur with Frenzy Plant, because when the situation arises where you will need a really powerful grass type, well, you will want to have a Venusaur with Frenzy Plant on hand. So if you do not have a really high IV Bulbasaur to evolve into Venusaur for Frenzy Plant, this is something you will want to focus on during Community Day. And of course, if you already have a whole bunch of really high IV Bulbasaurs, farm up those candies during Community Day so you could pick up Frenzy Plant, because this is definitely a move you do not want to miss. All right, now for the top two, let's get into some extremely meta relevant Pokemon. Now for these two Pokemon, they were the big standouts for Community Day this year. And these are the two Pokemon that you will definitely want to pick up during December Community Day. Among all of the Pokemon that's going to be available, these are the two that I'm going to be focusing on the most, and I'm really excited to get really high IV versions of these Pokemon. And I want to pick up some more shinies as well. And unlike the Community Days for these Pokemon, I really want to take some time and evolve and catch as many shinies as possible, mainly because of the trade value with them. I did pick up a lot of shinies for these specific Pokemon, but I didn't evolve them during those Community Days. I only focused on like the top 5 or the top 6 with high IVs. I should have really focused on just evolving as many of them as possible, because eventually we may not see these Pokemon again, so it's really good to have a bunch on hand for trades. So yeah, next up, it's going to be Tyranitar with Smackdown. This should have been obvious because Tyranitar with Smackdown has done so much for players throughout the past couple of months, mainly because he is by far the best rock type attacker. Now of course with Gen 4 we do have a lot of Pokemon that are coming out that could take the top spot as the best rock type attacker, but for now you definitely want to pick up Tyranitar with Smackdown, because anytime you need a rock type Pokemon, Tyranitar with Smackdown and Stone Edge is going to be your absolute best option. So definitely focus on those Larvitar. If you are not hatching eggs right now, I definitely suggest you do so. It is one of the best ways to pick up high IV Larvitars, because Larvitar of course has a really high hatch rate for some reason. I myself actually have a 100% Larvitar that I'm excited to evolve during December Community Day so I could pick up that move. So yeah, make sure you pick up a really high IV Larvitar during Community Day. And finally, the #1 Pokemon that you need to focus on this weekend for Community Day. It's one that we got recently, and it's one that a lot of players are still excited for. It is Metagross with Meteor Mash. Now, of course, this is the one Community Day Pokemon that has extreme meta relevance, has extreme future potential with PvP, and of course it has just a really powerful exclusive move that a lot of players are going to feel gimped not having. So Meteor Mash is of course a steel type Pokemon move, and the reason why it's extremely relevant is because of fairy types. Of course you have Pokemon like Gardevoir and Togekiss that are about to make a big splash when PvP comes out. And of course with Togekiss, it's a really nice Pokemon to defend gyms with right now, mainly because of course it complements Blissey's and Chansey's really well with its fairy type. And if you really want a really nice counter to fairy types, well, steel type is your best bet. So Meteor Mash is definitely going to hold a lot of relevance. And on top of that, Meteor Mash Metagross still has a really nice amount of TDO and just neutral defense and attack. So if you want a nice generalist, Meteor Mash Metagross is definitely one you want to pick up. So yeah, Meteor Mash Metagross is definitely the top Pokemon that you will want to pick up during this Community Day. If you didn't end up getting a high IV Metagross during Beldum Community Day, this is one you should definitely focus on. So I'm really excited about this because I did manage to pick up a 100% Beldum during Community Day, but I would really like to have a shiny Metagross with Meteor Mash and have it have really nice IVs. So I'm really excited about this Community Day. There's just a lot of opportunities, and again, Niantic, you're doing something really awesome with these Community Days. I like the fact that you don't necessarily have to spend money to utilize them to the full potential, and I like the fact that they are just overall just a great way for the community to come together and just work together to catch a whole bunch of Pokemon. Just like I mentioned earlier, I really think you should focus on trading as well. Don't neglect trading during this event, especially with lucky Pokemon. Make sure you're catching as many Pokemon as possible, because of course you will need those candies in order to evolve to get these exclusive moves. And of course, with all the Pokemon that I did not mention in this post, well, they could have meta relevance in the future with any kind of moves rework, so you will still want to pick up a few of them. And of course I didn't mention this, but Ampharos with Dragon Pulse, I think it is, Dragon Pulse or Dragon Tail, actually it was Dragon Pulse. Well, Ampharos, when he gets a Mega Evolution, he will also gain a Dragon type, which means his exclusive move will be a lot more relevant. Of course right now, as he is right now, he's not necessarily going to be relevant with Dragon Pulse, but again, it's about those Mega Evolutions and those future prospects. So make sure you pick up a nice Ampharos as as well. He may not necessarily be the top of your focus. I really think you should focus on Tyranitar and Metagross. Those are definitely going to give you some immediate value and of course some future value as well. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about this weekend. I'm really excited about it. I really like the fact that Niantic is doing some really cool things like this. And yeah, just give credit where credit is due. Make sure you go and tweet Niantic, let them know you are so thankful for this event, and I am super excited about it. Make sure you're planning it out. Find someone to trade with during Community Day and just really enjoy it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. What Pokemon are you going to be focusing on? What Pokemon do you have ready to evolve in your roster right now? It's going to be a really exciting time. Let me know what you think and let me know what you want to see with my YouTube channel, because I'm definitely trying to crank out some more content. And again, I could always use your feedback. The community is great. I love the fact that all of us as YouTubers, as Pokemon Go players, are just connected with each other. Let's keep that going. Make sure you sound off in the comments section. Let's have some great discussions. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, folks. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe. And there's a snowplow driving by my window right now, so I apologize for the noise. I am Count Jinsula, and I will catch you all later.